Radio.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. That's 800-240-4587.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
The voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
All right, Johnson County, welcome back to the JoCo Voice. I'm your host, Mike Wilshire. Today is February 12th. My God, this month is going by so fast. And it is 6:04 p.m. It says expect winds. That's all the weather is telling me right now. Expect winds. We get right into it with my guests. I have Jaceson Barrus with the Plaza Theater Company. Jaceson, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mic clipped you a little bit. It's so far away from my face. You know, I had to move and try to get it at the same time. But all right. So I would say career actor.
I mean, I can't really say that because I don't get paid for acting per se. I mean, we wear a lot of hats because we're a
Right.
community theater,
Right.
and acting is one of them. But I don't get paid to act.
Right.
I'm a volunteer when I act, just like the rest of our actors.
Well, I don't get paid much to be a comedian, but I don't mind if people call me comedian. Like it.
Then yes,
So I think-
actor's what I would choose.
I
How's
think
that?
I think actor will work, right? I think it's it's a good title. I mean, it's not like you're John Wilkes Booth or something. I mean, I think that was about the only actor anyone ever shunned away from, right?
Yeah.
Do you even know the play that was playing that night when
It was
Booth?
called Our American Cousin. It
Okay.
starred Laura Keene.
Really?
And he waited because it was a very old play actually at the time, and he knew what the line was that was going to get the biggest laugh.
And so he
And it was
timed
when the leading
perfect, huh?
guy said he called the leading lady a sockdologizing old man trap. And he called her that, and then the audience burst into laughter,
And that's when he
fired
fired the shot. Wow. Wow, isn't that amazing?
So you've
And-
just found out that I also love history.
Right. And apparently the tapestry caught his spur, which flipped him over and caused
his
him to
leg.
break his leg. And then you have the term "your name will be mud" because the doctor that treated him
Yeah.
was the doctor who that I've always thought that was an interesting. That's like a whole series of misunfortunate events for
Yeah.
anyone and everyone. Because like the major that was in the box with Lincoln wasn't supposed to be there. It was supposed to be someone
It was
else.
supposed to be Grant.
Yeah, it
actually.
was supposed to be Grant,
Yeah.
and there's all these different things that went on. That major suffered later because I mean he got stabbed in there in the box. People don't realize that he got stabbed in the box. Okay, so I'm sorry. Our history and theater could just go.
They can converge. It works.
They are all one and the same, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, if you think about it. So, all right. So you are the co-founder, along with Aaron. Tell me Aaron's full
Aaron
name.
Seiler.
Aaron Seiler and your wife and you and y'all all have been the Plaza Theater Company since.
We opened in April of 2007.
Nice. And smaller theater then.
Yeah, we started small. I mean, one could argue we're still pretty small, but we've grown from our first home, which was a small 130-seat venue that we were in for a year.
Right. But you've doubled the size of that venue now. Excuse me, with the amount of, dear Lord, that water. With 280, you can get 280 seats.
Yeah,
now.
and we do a specific kind of theater called theater in the round. And what's really fun about that is what you kind of trade when the audience can all look one direction. They all see the same thing, and when it's theater in the round, they don't. But what you trade is that you don't get further away from the stage than 6 feet, than 6 rows.
Right.
So it's much more intimate style of theater.
Right. And so what was the other one called? In picture?
Proscenium.
Proscenium. Okay.
Yeah, it means picture frame. in
Picture frame.
French.
Okay, which is the normal type of theater we think
That
of.
most people think of.
That
yeah.
most people think of. Okay. And you still have a 150 seat intimate theater.
Yeah, that first theater that we opened in 2007, we still run shows there. We just do the much smaller, more intimate type of shows there. The shows that we do at our main theater are big shows with lots of cast and lots of set that we couldn't do in that first space. So we do two different kinds, but they are both in the round.
Okay. And you have to shameless plug. What do we have going on this weekend?
Happy to plug the show that we're doing right now. It's a musical everyone's heard of, and that is The Sound of Music. And the thing is, a lot of people will go, oh, well, I've seen that. I've seen the movie with Julie Andrews, or they may have seen one of the million community theater productions of it. And in fact, we've done it before as well. But I can also tell you that people have not seen it the way we are able to do it in our theater in the round space. It's a very unique experience seeing it that intimately.
Although the story may be the same everywhere, no two theater productions are identical.
No.
And you could go, I've seen probably A Christmas Carol 15 times in my lifetime. I have never seen the same set. I've never seen the same actors. I've never seen the same ending, pretty much, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But truly amazed at every production I've ever been to, and I love the theater. I think if you're anyone that's wanting to go on a date night, this is where you want to go, guys. Try to find out something she wants to see. She doesn't find it romantic. I mean, obviously she's going to have to put her cell phone down. You can't sit in there and text in the theater all night. You're going to get asked to leave. People don't realize that, right?
Yeah.
What's the pricing for this weekend?
So our most expensive ticket is $32 for
Okay.
adults. We also have a discount for active military and for seniors and students, and then we have a deep discount for children.
Okay.
And the Sound of Music is a great one for kids.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They'll be singing it. I mean,
yeah, we 7 kids in the show. So
right to this to this day. I still get that song stuck in my head.
Do Re Mi.
The Do Re Mi. I mean, learned it in first grade,
right.
probably in music in first grade.
Yeah, it's a fun song.
Still get it stuck in my head. 50-year-old grown man, combat veteran, seasoned trained combat veteran singing Do Re Mi. Get it stuck in my head from every now and
There's
then.
nothing wrong with fun.
Right? 177 productions y'all have done. Right?
Yep.
That's what you told me before the show.
It's our 177th show.
You're tired. And you have 7 kids.
Well, I mean, 4 of them are technically older than 18, so they take care of themselves now. So we have 3 still at home. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. At any given time, you had some at home. They were all at home at one.
Yeah.
You've had a consistent number of 3 to 4 children.
Yeah, and they were all the exact same distance apart in age too. So we just spaced them all out.
Is it like on a leap year y'all make one? Because we're on the 8th year right now for your 8-year-old son. So every leap year y'all are like, okay, it's the 28th. We gotta.
I would say that the last 3 were not something that we made a plan.
Right,
but
happy accidents. I mean, what do you call it? Happy surprises or whatever.
We feel our family wouldn't be complete without them. So there you go.
Well, in your defense, though, we got to think of what big show was playing 8 years ago that you had a standing ovation, and that's probably whenever.
Maybe so.
For me, it's whenever I kill it on the stage for comedy, I'm like, hey, baby, I mean, like. Laughter is what makes me get excited, right?
Okay.
All right. So the 3 primary facets of your theater, we talked about this offline, and this means a lot to me. First of all, I want to put a shameless plug out there for you guys, because whenever I was researching who I wanted to interview and I was talking to someone, I called your number and I got an answer from a person at the phone who said, you need to talk to Jaceson. And then put me through to you. And I held for a little bit because you were probably out there changing the ghost lamp. You were changing the light bulb in the ghost lamp or something, And you answered and spoke with me in depth right at that moment. And then we've spoken other times. Your 3 primary facets. First is consistency. And go into that to explain.
Well, so when we opened in 2007, we were invited by an organization that was in downtown Cleburne called the Downtown Cleburne Association. And what they were looking for was entertainment or something that was going to bring people consistently downtown. They wanted to increase foot traffic. And the model that we presented to them was that we would have shows every weekend of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So when we say consistency, obviously we mean we try to attain a certain quality with the shows as far as what we're able to produce. But secondly, that we are always open. If it's a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, you can see a show at Plaza.
Right. And so you have the consistency. The second is I put in my notes opportunity, but
yeah. So when we very first wrote our mission statement, one of the things that we really wanted to focus on was community. And with that was we wanted to be providing opportunities for volunteerism. Our actors are volunteers, as I already said, but there are other things involved at the theater where volunteers are involved, whether they're helping people seat or selling our concessions, things that people do see, or behind the scenes helping with costumes and props and scenery and all that. That they don't necessarily see. Those, in a lot of cases at a community theater level, are volunteers. In fact, I'll tell you that, every weekend we play to 1,000 people. And so we have to have 1,000, what we call Plaza bills. That's the program. And in our Plaza bill, we put a little paper called an enter to win slip. Each one has its own enter to win slip, and people can fill it out, gives us their email address. And in return, they're entered into a drawing to win 2 free tickets to the next show. It's a really useful marketing tool.
Absolutely.
But every one of those Plaza bills has to be stuffed with the enter to win slip.
So
and
you
we
need
have
a volunteer.
5 volunteers that come every Thursday, and they call themselves the Plaza Stuffers.
Nice.
And
You
they're
know what?
older
I
folks.
may come out there just so I can be a Plaza stuffer
They're
once.
lovely people, and you know, what do they get out of that other than feeling like they're being a part of something that is making a difference in our
Sure.
community?
Sure. And you're giving back just a little bit. And the third primary facet, I'll let you tell it.
So, is the style of material that we present is a reflection of the community that we're in. So,
Mhm.
what we do is G and PG rated material. When you come see our shows, we're not trying to make big political or religious statements or anything like that. We just
Sure.
want to entertain, have people to have fun. So, there's no language in our shows. You can bring anybody and not worry.
Okay, good. So I want to get all those out of the way because we got to get obviously the shameless plugs. And showtimes are
every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 7:30 in
Mhm.
the evening, and Saturday afternoons at 3:00.
okay. And I wanted to make sure everyone knows what's going on. And the show is The Sound of Music right now.
Right now, yeah.
And next week, or is it next week or the next show
So
in a
we
couple of weeks?
just opened The Sound of Music, and it's one of our. So we produce 11 shows at Dudley Hall, which is
Right.
our main theater. Then we also have the other theater that we still operate as well, that we do intermittent shows.
Okay.
So we're working on the show that we're going to be opening there in 2 weeks right now, and that is a play called Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap. So
Love it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Love it.
Uh,
Anything Agatha Christie.
yeah, Agatha Christie, Sherlock Holmes. We love doing mysteries.
Oh.
And this one's, you know, one of her best. In fact, this is the longest running English speaking play ever. The
Really?
original production is still running in the West End in England.
Really?
Yeah, pretty
Of
cool.
Mousetrap. Of all this time.
Yeah, all
And
this
it's
time.
still the same actors, ladies and gentlemen.
And in fact,
Yeah.
so at the very beginning of the show, they walk out and they say, "You now know the secret. You have to make a pledge that you will never tell anybody else who the murderer is."
Right.
So that's part of,
That's-
of
yeah.
the production. So yeah, we're going to be doing the Mousetrap in that smaller, more intimate space, which is going to be spooky and interesting. That's going to be fun. But we're also rehearsing for the show, which comes after The Sound of Music in a month. And that's a play called The Hit. And I say that knowing that nobody has heard of it because it's never been done in Texas. It's a Texas premiere. And
It's
is
a comedy.
It's a comedy, but I'm going to tell you what it's about, and you're going to go,
Okay.
"How is that funny?"
Right.
So it's about this woman and her brother who run an antique shop,
Okay.
and she actually hires a hitman to come and kill her
Okay.
because she has found out she has cancer, and she watched her mother go through that, and she doesn't want to put her brother through it, and she doesn't want to feel all that pain, so she wants to end it quickly. And so she brings in a hitman to do that. Well, the hitman that she hires actually turns out to be this 22-year-old kind of hippie,
Incompetent of hitting somebody.
odd person,
Right.
And you know, you're going, how can that be funny, right? How
Right.
can that possibly be funny? And I will say to you that on one hand, it is a lovely affirmation of how beautiful it is to be alive. That show
Okay.
is absolutely, at the end of it, you walk away with a better feeling about the beauty of being alive.
Uh-huh.
So that's in there. But then there's also the humorous aspect. So they actually become friends.
Right.
She does try to kill her, but it doesn't work.
Right.
She is incompetent, but also very quirky. Her Russian mafia uncle has to come in and finish the job because she doesn't do it.
Oh.
And there's a chase around the set, this antique shop,
Right.
where he's trying to shoot her. There's
Oh,
little
Lord.
pieces of scenery exploding on the set while that happens. And in the round, that is just going to be very immersive.
I can't wait. I
So-
will come to it. I want to see it just for. What is the one? I Love You to Death. I think with Kevin Kline.
Yeah, it's a movie. Yeah,
movie
Fun,
many
yeah.
years ago, and it's River Phoenix and I want to say it's River Phoenix and Keanu Reeves are going to hit him in the head with a bat, and they're like, "It's a Don Mattingly." They're like, "Whoa!" And they just can't get over how
Yeah.
you know it's trying to hire these horrible hitmen to pull it off. So I could, there's so many things that if somebody ever described it to you and you're like, no, it's really, really funny. And I guess the movie Clue is another example of,
You're like, well, this is about murder. But
yeah, it's a murder.
How is this
There's
funny?
dead bodies in this
It's funny.
house, and you've got to understand, it's absolutely hilarious. And
We're actually doing Clue later this year.
are y'all really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, man! This is some stuff. I can't wait to see these. And you're doing it in the fashion of the way.
So it's actually a musical.
Okay.
So it's not the same as that movie. Obviously, it's a similar story,
Okay.
but it's called all original music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Got to run that. And okay, so real quick, getting to the meat and bones of everything. Your wife also runs the Plaza Academy
Yeah.
for okay, and it's plaza-academy.com.
Uh-huh.
And what ages?
So it's an after school arts education program. So when public school is in session, so are we. So we do a spring semester, we do a fall semester, and then a spring semester. And then during the summer, we do summer camps for the students. And we offer classes during the semesters. We have about 30 classes in different disciplines of dance, tap, jazz, ballet, hip hop. And then also vocal performance, musical theater is our most popular class. They're about to do their production of Matilda, Junior. And then we also have classes that we call JoCo or senior company. Those groups create a production that they present at the Junior Theater Festival, which they literally just came back from. Our students of our senior company that came back from Atlanta, of 126 schools, they received a best production trophy.
Wow.
Yeah. From all over the country, from all over the United States and 5 different countries.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. We're very proud of those students. They do a fantastic job. So we have over 320 students going in this semester right now. We call it our minor leagues because a lot of our main stage productions end up being populated with students that have come up through our academy.
Awesome. So, I mean, it if you want to get into it, that's a good place to start, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, and we used to, obviously we love it when students, go on and get scholarships to colleges or get great professional jobs, and that has happened. But we say that our intent isn't to, create these professional performers. Our intent is to give young people something that they can enjoy, that they can care about, that they can put their heart into. Some of them will go on and act, but really what we just want is to give them an opportunity to become well-rounded adults.
Right. And I mean, for me as a comedian, I'm funny when it's just you and I. I'm charming, right?
Sure.
But to make a room full of people laugh, that takes teaching
skill.
It takes it. There are some comedians who've got up there and just boom, took off one day, and everything just went perfect for them, and that happens. But there's other people who have struggled, and the person who struggles real hard at something is the person who learns from everyone, trying to get as much as they can. And I've had many of people sit in that seat and tell me, no, I was shy at first. And I went and took an improv class. I went and took an acting class. I went and did, learn how to sing, learn how to play the guitar a little bit, different things to try to help them. I know that mine was accidental, as I was telling you before about doing the Macbeth, and the whole, it was purely accidental that I was a physical guy. And someone said, I need someone to help me do a sword fight. And I'm like, I'm in. Like, I didn't even know. I mean, are we going to kill somebody? What are we doing? Do I need to burn my clothes? Afterwards, what's good? No, we're going to go rehearse for Macbeth. And I'm like,
okay.
The one where Macduff chops his head off? He goes, yeah. And I'm like, I'm not getting my head chopped off. No. And so, and y'all have done it. You've done.
Yeah,
Macbeth.
Actually, a totally different aspect of what we do is our annual Shakespeare in the Park production. So it's not part of our main season at Dudley Hall or our secondary season at Main Street. This is one show a year that we do in cooperation with the Cleburne Chamber of Commerce. And we offer it for a weekend. Last year we did do Macbeth, which is okay to say when you're not in a theater. If you're inside a theater and you say
can't
the word
say
Macbeth,
the word
it's
Macbeth,
cursed. You have to call it the cursed play.
It's never said in a theater. Even his name is not said in the theater. It's never said in the play, is it?
Not that I know of.
I don't think his name is said
if
in
it
the play.
They're running a big risk.
Right. It is solely that. But you guys are very, very superstitious, are you not?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not totally the superstitious guy about that kind of stuff.
Really?
But in general, theater people are quite superstitious. Yeah.
The whole break a leg is so you get casted. Right, isn't that the
there's
rumor?
Actually there's not a
theories?
definite belief on that. There's different ones. That one that you just named.
Mhm.
One of them is, the curtains that frame the stage are called legs.
Mhm.
And it used to be that if your character went on stage, it meant breaking the legs or breaking the stage.
Oh.
And if you did that, it meant that you got paid for the production.
Right.
So you were wishing the person good luck at being able to get paid.
Right.
It's also argued that actors have always said if you wish someone good luck, that it's actually bad luck. So
Yeah.
you're offering them a bad luck. So that
Whole
they actually
song
have
about
good
it
luck.
in The Producers.
Yeah, exactly.
A whole
Great-
song
great
about
song.
it in the
Great
great song. There, and why let the truth get in the way of a good legend?
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, I love it.
Exactly.
And in the military, it was always the reason why we salute is 2 knights passing in a battlefield would lift their visors up and let the other one see their eyes, so they knew they were really fighting somebody.
Right.
Somebody asked me one time, "Do you believe that?" And I said, "No, not really, but it sounds like a really
Sounds
good
good.
story." So, I mean, I like to think that we come from a chivalry background from there some way or another. All right, so now we have the Sound of Music, then you have the hit. I believe you said Fiddler on the Roof is coming.
Yeah, so we actually are in the middle of our auditions for Fiddler on the Roof.
Is there going to be a casting call, or you're going to actually?
Yeah, so the way
Saturday.
we do auditions is we make a video call.
Mhm.
So we ask people to submit a video audition. We tell them what it is that we're wanting them to do. Then the producers and the director watch these videos, and from that, they determine who they'd like to see further, and that's called a callback.
Mhm.
And that callback is this Saturday. So those auditions are open now. And like I say, we are a community theater, so we're always interested in having folks audition for us.
Right.
And
Try
it's
it.
quite
Do
easy to
it.
do. Just go to our Facebook page, and the link is right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do one just so I could say I did one.
Heck yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be for, but like y'all are going to call for like a 16-year-old female that's like 5'1".
Okay.
I'm going to go for that.
It'll
really
work.
see if I can sell it right. Channel my daughter whenever she was young and gave me dirty looks, right? I know that I always tell everyone one of my favorite stories is I met Matthew McConaughey one time.
All right.
Yes, and he told us, I told him I had done business with his brother Rooster, and he said, "So you know my brother, right?" And he said, one time somebody asked me where I get my character from Dazed and Confused from. And he said, and I told him from my brother, Rooster McConaughey. He said, Rooster called him and says, like, I never dated no high school girl when I was in high school, and chewed him out, because he's like basically playing a pedophile on that show.
Sure is.
And chewed him out. And he goes, do you know how scary it is to know that your older brother's going to beat you up at Thanksgiving and you find this out in like March? He goes, it was so now I have to tell people it was his demeanor, persona, his clothing he wore, his haircut, his mustache, the car he drove, the way he was built. That's what I base his character on. Nobody bases the character on a pedophile, like the character that he plays right there. But
great movie.
It's a great movie, and it's I remember all that stuff because I remember 79 is probably my earliest 70. I'd say 77 to 79. I can remember, and everything creaked. The cars always squeaked when you got in them, and it was just rust belt. There was no plastic in a car or anything like that. And I remember my little brother, whenever they got him a car seat, it looked like the chair they wheeled Hannibal Lecter around in. He's like, do you hear the limes clary? He was like in this leather contraption. We looked it up on the internet one day, and my little brother was like, y'all put me in that? And I'm like, it was state of the art, dude. Supposedly it was safe. But it took up half the car, what I mean? But it was.
Well, with 7 kids spread over 22 years, we've gone through a succession of different car seats. Too,
right.
So.
They have evolved over the last 30
have.
years,
Yeah.
have they not? Now, man, they got like a TV in them and a cup holder and like seat warmer. And I'm like, man, you want to be
the seat
that.
warmer could be useful.
It would be very useful. I mean, for me at my age, it's for my lower back. It's really helps me whenever my back's hurting, but not so much for whenever it's cold out. But all right. So, Fiddler on the Roof. Then what's after Fiddler on the Roof?
A great musical called Anastasia. So a lot of people will have seen that movie, and this is the musical based on that movie. So all that music is in this musical.
Okay.
And then after that is our summer production, which is always a show that we bring back that has been very popular previously. This year for us, that's going to be the Buddy Holly story, which is one of the most popular shows we've ever done. It featured an actor out of Granbury who was fantastic in the role. And in fact, he's going to come back and do it for us again. So it is basically an encore production.
Well, I don't want to give anything away, but whenever I see the airplane, I'm going to cry.
Yeah, it's actually quite sad the way they present it in the show too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What's the one where they put the helicopter in Miss Saigon?
Yeah, Miss Saigon.
Yeah, that first time I ever saw that, I was like, "Whoa, that's a helicopter!"
Awesome how they did it. I had a friend play that part on the tour, and he took us backstage and showed us the mechanism,
how they did it, how they pull it off.
Neat.
It is. It's amazing, right? I mean, that I don't know how they do it. I mean, but just when you're watching it, it's truly amazing to see that. And I think maybe Henry V, I saw some flaming arrows flying overhead in a stage production one time. And yeah, I know how they did it. I know how they did it. So I could tell you how they did it later off.
That's our Shakespeare in the Park this summer.
Is it? But the flaming arrows was truly amazing. And I'm sure you guys come up with all kinds of cool ways.
To think on that one.
You know, movie Hollywood, got to come up with something, right? There's got to be, maybe we call those guys from Mythbusters. I think they're looking for a job now. They're special effects guys. They could tell us, hey, everyone stick around. I'll be back with Jason Barrus in just a minute.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
You're listening to JoCo Community Radio.
Got some jamming music, right? JoCo Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoCo.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch, and the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store, check out our lineup and more at JoCoCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-TEX-HAIL. That's 844-839-4245. Be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. All right, we're back, and no questions popping in, so that's good. I can get to keep picking on you and picking your brain because you know a lot about history as well as the theater. I mean, but throughout theater is what has been. Before it was the king had a court jester,
right?
And then once we had theater, that was our medium for speaking out. That's what the I mean, even that play that Lincoln was assassinated in was like a political.
Yeah, it was set in England, and it was actually about this American who went to England, and they all thought she was a fish out of water.
Right,
It's the basic
right,
story.
and that's how plays were originally. I think it's thought that Shakespeare didn't really write all those plays; that it was written.
It hasn't been proven that he didn't. There's
But
some
it's some speculation
yeah.
that someone else did, and they've made some really good movies and really good documentaries, I guess I would say, to watch based off of why they think that.
Yeah. there's some
And
interesting
and
ones.
what I'm not going to spit it out, but I mean, don't want to spoil it for anyone. Drive down that rabbit hole one day, if you want to see whenever it's over and done with. Man, we talked about y'all do more musicals probably than anything. You said you do 7 last year. How many?
No. So our main stage, we do 8 large musical productions
Okay.
a year. Actually, technically, you would call our Christmas show a musical. You talked about A Christmas Carol.
Mhm,
We
mhm.
produce that every other year.
Okay.
And then on the off year, we produce another Christmas-based story. This last year, we did It's a Wonderful Life,
Oh,
the musical, which actually was written, the music, by a couple of fellas out of Arlington.
really?
Yeah, and beautiful music. They actually came and saw it. It was very successful for us.
Mhm.
But when we do Christmas Carol, that's actually not a musical. It's the play, but it's adorned with holidays,
Right.
carols of the season.
Right.
So in those years, we only do 7. Yeah.
Right. I love A Christmas Carol. I feel that my Christmas can't come until I watch Scrooged with Bill Murray
Good
in
stuff.
it, which is about the production of A Christmas Carol with the Christmas Carol in it. Right.
Mhm.
It's just one of those stories that will always be relevant. I
Yeah.
guess we
Yeah.
all know the Jacob Marley. But anyhow, I'm sorry. I don't want to go into too much detail about it. I don't want to spoil anything because you scared me with Mousetrap. You are now involved in this secret.
Well,
You now
Mousetrap
know.
is a little different. Yeah.
All of hers,
Yeah.
and I can tell you that reading Agatha Christie is not a pleasure for me at
She's
the
my
start.
favorite writer.
She is an amazing writer, but you talk about boring to start off.
I love
The
it.
first chapters or 2, if you can make it through it, but then every page is a page turner. It's just so. If you've had a hard time reading her, see the plays or see the movies that have been made. But like I said, every play is different. Everything's going to be different. Uh, uh, Murder on the Orient Express is just truly amazing.
It's brilliant.
And it's an actor's playground because any actor can play any part on there or would like to try to play any part on there, and there's a lie inside of a lie inside of a lie.
Yeah.
And whenever those are the greatest ones, the ones where you're turning around at the very end going, wait, hold on.
Yeah, she really pulls the string on that one. And another nice thing that's really interesting for that show or
Mhm.
play, or that book, but in the play, the train is literally a character in the story.
Yes.
And the way it contributes to finding out what happened. So yeah,
Right.
that's going to be a lot of fun to put on our stage.
And I read an article about her that she wished she would have made Poirot younger because she got bored with him with being this old man.
She had him retired pretty quickly. By
Yeah.
by her 6th book, which was The Murder of Roger Ackroyd,
Yeah.
she had him retiring and doing vegetable marrows.
Right. And she got bored with him too
Yeah.
quick. She wished she would have started off with him younger and let him grow like her other characters and
Mhm.
stuff. And so I mean, I love it. Maybe I probably will, yank out and do another one, read one of the Agatha Christie's, I've got them somewhere there at the house, but I just haven't. They got dust collecting on them, huh? And so we got Fiddler on the Roof coming up. Then what's after Fiddler on the Roof?
Anastasia, and then Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly. Then after that,
So that's through the first part of the year. Now, at that time, we'll also be doing at Main Street our summer camp shows. And what that
Okay.
is where students from the academy come for a 2-week camp. And as part of the camp, they create their own production.
Mhm.
And then they present it at Main Street during the
Mhm.
summer. So last year, that teen camp show was Les Miserables School Edition. This year, we're trying to figure out how in the world we could possibly top that. So they haven't settled on a title yet.
Les Miserables, boy,
It was stunning. The kids
Wow.
did an amazing job. And then
that's rough. That's a hard play, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I would think for kids,
yeah,
that's a hard play for
and
anyone.
it's amazing that they carried it off so well.
Right.
But then at the end of the summer, we'll be starting into the fall with a play based on another great book by another fantastic English writer, Jane Austen, called Pride and Prejudice. A very cool adaptation of that story is the beginning of the second half of our year. And then after that, we are doing we're just doing a bunch of classics, which is a lot of fun. We're doing the Gilbert and Sullivan Pirates of Penzance, which is crazy fun.
That's the Modern Major General
Yes,
song.
that's the one.
I love that
the
song.
Pirate King and all
Yeah,
of that. It's hilariously funny. Lots of words.
Oh yeah, boy, and I love the movie where they're trying to. How are you going to get all these words in that? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like it's just a lot. So I went to a stage production of, is it Wait Until Dark?
Yeah.
And when the refrigerator opens, I remember people gasping.
Mhm.
I just remember, and for me, I had seen the movie
With
and
Audrey Hepburn.
with Audrey Hepburn, and I don't want to give it away for anyone, but if you haven't seen it by now, spoiler alert, you're an idiot. You got to see this movie. I mean, like it's just, but I wanted to see how they were going to do the ending on the stage.
Works really well.
It does,
Yeah.
but I was not. I know what I saw happen to Alan Arkin in the movie, but I just did not know. And kudos to the character who had to go and dress up those different, because Alan Arkin in the movie, for people who don't know, he's playing two different parts, and he's pretending at one time to be a cop, and then he shows up and changes his identity and pretends to be someone else. And he's truly an evil man. He's the worst of the worst in the room, and out of all of them.
There's a show with the MacGuffin, by the way. That the drugs in
the
that,
drugs in the
MacGuffin.
bag. Yeah, in the bag. And for folks who don't know, a MacGuffin is a inanimate object that drives the plot forward. The truest form of a MacGuffin is the Maltese Falcon. Throughout the whole movie, the Maltese Falcon is the MacGuffin that drives the plot forward. The Enigma machine in U571, different ones, but the bag of drugs, the baby doll with the drugs in it. It's heroin, I believe, that's in it.
Bogart's my favorite actor of all time. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
last line of Maltese Falcon, she says, "What is that?" And he says, "It's the stuff that dreams are made of."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite last lines of
Bogey.
a movie.
Oh man, that guy, he was something else, you know. And do you know him and Spencer Tracy being best friends? Could you imagine just driving a car with the two of them in it?
They'd be interesting. Yeah.
I forget what his name is, but he was one of the, I think he was like Laverne's boyfriend off of Laverne and Shirley, the character Thomas, I think was his last name or something. He was telling a story one time about, he was a radio disc jockey somewhere, and he was driving Clayton Williams, the Lone Ranger, down the road, and someone sideswiped his car. And so he chased after the guy. They got the cops to the scene, and the guy's like, "It's my word against yours, dude. There's nothing going to happen to me." And Clayton Williams got out in his Lone Ranger gab, walked up, and he goes, "No, citizen, I think they're going to believe me." I'm like,
Nice.
"That's awesome. Right? He had the Lone Ranger, you know, the epitome of good guy,
Right.
in the back seat of his car, that he was giving him a ride back to the hotel because they hadn't had him a limo come yet, so they
That's
were
funny.
waiting on it. That's funny. But all right, so yeah, I love the sword fights though. I mean, y'all done the Count of Monte Cristo, I
We
believe.
did that last fall. It was
Right.
fantastic.
And you have to stay PG or G rated. So I mean, that's one. I don't know. I mean, that
Pretty
one,
visceral. I mean, we did that with some amazing sword fighting. We did Zorro.
right?
That had some awesome sword fighting in it with Treasure Island.
Oh, Treasure Island's good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Treasure Island was great.
Oh man, that's awesome. How did y'all pull off the? Okay, so we did Jack and the Beanstalk whenever I was young, and I had to wear the Jack costume because I was like the tallest one,
Sure.
and it was the body was made out of pantyhose and pillows basically to make it look like the giant's so I'm there as the giant.
Yeah.
And I misspoke, but I'm there as the giant, and I had this like big beard on and all this stuff, and then they wanted us to take pictures with the kids, which was the scariest thing I've ever done because I'm on stilts. I got these kids walking around that are screaming and hollering, trying to get away from me, scared to death of me. I got this gravelly voice that I talk like this when I talk to them. And I'm so scared that I'm going to knock a kid over or fall on top of them. And I mean, if I fell down, because I did in rehearsal, it took 4 guys to get me back up.
my
I mean,
gosh.
it was a fiasco. And, I started off with the stilts just at 1 inch and worked my way up to about 5 inches. So my feet are in the middle of his fat calves, like Popeye calves that he had
Right.
on it, and just scared to death. I wonder what they did with that outfit. I mean, I'm sure they still have it somewhere, and some kid is zipped up in it and went, God, this thing stinks. It smells so bad.
People don't have any idea what actors go through to put these costumes on. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And there's so many like noises off where they're showing the behind the scenes, and it's so true where you see, I can remember my friend Amanda got stuck behind like the couch because she couldn't get off the set in time, and she's got the little headset on her, and they're like, where's Amanda? Why isn't she answering? Well, she's kind of stuck until act 2.
Oh no.
She can't get off the stage, And I told you that one I did that a shot in the dark, and I had to have that black leotard on and fire a blank off into it with this little blue flame that shot. And it was a lot like Clue, where the lights go off, comes back on, somebody's lying on the ground, and stuff. And so it was hilarious. What's one of the scariest ones you think?
One of the scary shows we've done?
Mm-hmm.
We last fall. So the catalyst for starting up doing more productions at our Main Street location was we had been doing for several years a haunted house at the Main Street location, but it really was taking a toll on the building itself. We had to take all the seats out to make the haunted house work and all of that. And it was just a little bit more challenging than we could manage. So we decided to go back to doing what we do, which is we decided to do a play, but we wanted it to be themed for the Halloween season. So we did Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh,
and that's what we did there last fall over the Halloween holiday. And it was well received and very unique, something different.
Does the Bowie knife make an appearance?
It was in there.
Okay.
And I mean, it's the original script that was written in the from the book that was written in the late 1800s. And people loved it. So this year we're doing Frankenstein.
Oh, there you go.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
More so like the original from okay,
very first one,
not Boris Karloff,
Mary Shelley,
the Mary Shelley. Okay, don't get me wrong, Boris Karloff's amazing.
Sure,
those are truly amazing,
but it's been
movies. But it's been done. Yeah, I want to see Mary Shelley's. Where the monster don't bother to scream. I love those. I love those. I use those lines all the time. There's so many lines from so many things that someone's like, where'd you come up with that? What are you talking about? Where I come up with that? That's Shakespeare, or that's Mary Shelley, or something.
Yeah.
I saw a production of Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, cool.
And I'm telling you right now, as a grown man, if that headless horseman walked up beside me afterwards, because a lot of times they'll have mixers and stuff, and the actors do come out in I saw a production at Camelot, and the actors came out in costume, and or standing and taking photos with people. It was one of those special shows where they did that. And I was like, man, if that dude in the horseman outfit comes out here, that headless horseman, I'm not standing next to him, that guy. And sure enough, he walked out, and he was not a tall guy. He actually had to be short to fit into it, for the way they had done it with the cape and the cowl and all the things that he was wearing and everything that he had on. And but yeah, it didn't have no happy ending. It just ended with Ichabod Crane. Nobody knows.
Story. Yeah.
Right. That's any of those Grimm or any of those old the original ones, they're not happy endings in them. They're legendary tales of watch out. Make sure you don't do anything.
The kids.
Yeah, scare the kids. Krampus. It's the old Krampus thing. That's awesome. So all right, so you have auditions coming up for all these. are gonna.
Yeah, so
Nothing's casted other than what you're doing now in the next one. Fiddler on the Roof is still open until Saturday.
Yeah, so we are the best place to get all the information about what's current at the theater is to go to our Facebook page, which is Plaza Co. You just type in Plaza Co.
Right.
Or Plaza Cleburne or whatever, and it'll come up. But we pretty much keep that. We update that every day with something new about what's going on, and all of our audition information is there. Although if they'd rather go to our website because they don't like social media, which some people are like that, then that's plaza-theater.com.
So. Right. I'm going to tell you, man, Facebook has, I really didn't have a Facebook presence before I was doing this show. And now it is everything for me. Everything that I'm researching, you guys have found on Facebook. Everything, it's just constantly because it's the best medium to get to every generation, I guess.
Well, and for us, from the style of theater we do, you can tell our patronage skews a little older. Our matinees all sell out because our patronage skews a little older. And so they will use Facebook. It's usable for older folks and they're okay with it.
I don't know
the
whether
other
I
ones
should...
like Instagram or TikTok or X,
not
as much.
I don't know if I should be really resentful or truly happy that I'm that old now that Facebook and the matinees are going to sell out, because that's where I'm going to buy my ticket. And that's where I'm going to go to the matinee. I'm too old to see. I'm at that age now where I turn the volume down on the radio so I could see better when I'm driving.
I do that too.
Like, the kids get in the car and they're like, "Dad, listen to this new song. Whoa, it's so loud I can't see."
My favorite TV commercials right now are for Progressive, where the doctor is telling people not to turn into their parents.
Oh, yes.
And he's training them. I find those incredibly funny.
The guy in the hardware store helping someone, and he's like, he didn't ask you for your help. He didn't ask you, the guy orders his salad, and the lady's like, "That'd be $23. I'm just buying my salad. I'm not paying for anyone else's." You're like, oh,
it's so true.
We got the Jason's Deli here now, and I was so happy that we got something else other than a fried chicken joint. I was like, we got Jason's Deli. I go eat a salad, eat healthy, get me a sandwich. $27.50, sir. I don't remember what it was, but it was just so much. It was like, wait a minute. I'm thinking of that Progressive commercial. I just buy mine. I'm not paying for everyone else's, when it's over and done with. That's awesome. Okay. So, I was, another thing I want to talk about was fight choreography. I mean, whenever you guys do these sword fights in Zorro and just anything that you do, I mean, it's people don't realize those are swords. They may be dull, but they still can hurt you. You still could.
So the fight choreographer is an actual hired part of the production team. So just like a choreographer that stages the dancing, the fight choreographer stages all of the sword fights or any kind of fighting, whether it's fist fights or holds or whatever. All of that is rehearsed so the actors can be safe.
Right.
And they do it again and again so they create muscle memory. And before every performance, we have what's called a fight call, and we practice it to make sure that muscle memory is in place with the intention of being nobody getting hurt. You are swinging around big metal sticks when you're using those swords. So,
but even just the physical fist fights, you have to be very careful. And I always tell everyone a theater fist fight is different than a movie fist fight, because they can do with a camera where I'm the distance I am from you, and it looks like I punched you right in the face, because they can angle the camera just right.
Perspective.
Yeah, the forced perspective is different. With you guys, it has to be truly choreographed because you're going to be right up on each other,
and we're 360 degrees,
right? And
so.
and getting hurt means you don't work. Getting hurt means that the production doesn't go on, and your stand-in has to go in for you. And you're out of the rest of the production if you're hurt badly enough.
It used to be our focus was that we wanted it to be believable. And while believability matters to us, we're okay with the audience going, "Oh, that's not quite real," as long as they can tell that we're not hurting anybody.
Right. And I remember my first lesson was how to fall down, like how to do a stage fall.
Right.
They were like, and then that first thing they ever showed us was Chevy Chase and how those falls took a toll on him. And showed us some other stuff where, and I always tell everybody, if you want to see how you're supposed to fall, watch Dances with Wolves, where Kevin Costner walks out after hitting his head or he gets scared by the Indian and does that fall. He does it perfect. It is a full-blown stage fall where you do the roll and sit on your butt and lay on your back and stuff, and it works. I tell people it works. And I think it's fight choreography is a big deal. I mean, that job I had where the shot in the dark, I was paid a lot of money to fire off 6 shots
to do it right
of a blank gun that had a quarter of a load in it, not even enough to obviously, fatal if you put it up to your head. Like I forget what his name was in the 80s that did that.
That was Brandon Lee.
No, Brandon Lee.
Oh, the guy was on the Voyagers.
Yeah, that
Voyagers was the TV show.
Yeah, and he was like, he blew the shot and was like, ugh, and pulled the trigger at his head and forgot, and it just the explosiveness.
If the Alec Baldwin thing on his movie set teaches us anything, is that it's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
You have to be
absolutely dangerous.
Have to be on top of making sure that everybody is safe.
And when I went to that set, I went there with the 5 little, they were red, these little blanks were that I had, and I went there with the 5 little red blanks in a bag, in the pistol in a locked case that I opened and announced, obviously that there was a hot gun on the set for it, and everybody repeats. I don't know if anyone knows this, but whenever you say something on the set, everyone repeats it to try to let everyone know there's something moving overhead, there's clear the set, everyone clear the set, and all these things you have to do. And I had to announce it, and it was so funny because I did it and then I put it in the holster, and then literally I did nothing. I sat there with this little black leotard on with a holster on.
You did your job.
And I did my $120 job.
Right.
I was like, it'd have been so much nicer to be a fight choreographer or something where you get to actually do something physical and play around with it or something. But I love it. I think that's absolutely hilarious. And so let's talk about the ghost light.
Okay.
Now, last thing I want to get in, the ghost light, again, legendary, right? Where does the ghost light come from?
Well, when you were talking about people that are superstitious, so theater people are, and it's an argument that there's a ghost in every theater, and ghosts are attracted to light, and you never want to leave the theater dark. So every theater, be it big professional houses in New York or little tiny community theaters, all have a ghost light, and you never have the space be dark. So the ghost light is always the last thing you will on the stage when you leave.
And it's a lamp, just a little.
It's usually made up. It's not meant to be a really nice light. It's kind of meant to be pieced together of found things at the theater, so that it has the kind of the soul of the
draw
company.
Right. Okay. Have you ever seen a phantom up there in the gas?
I have this belief, and I told you I'm not real superstitious.
Right,
so I have this belief that the reason you always hear ghost stories from actors is because actors love attention.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Absolutely. If it's, all eyes on me, it's got to be, it's the unsinkable Molly Brown. I don't care what they say, so long as they say something about me. Right. That was the true gist of it. So any other funny superstitious stuff that you,
I kind of washes off of me. It's like I say, it's just not my personal thing.
Any absolutely hilarious accidents that have ever happened, something funny?
So I'll tell you one of hundreds, and I'll tell you that at the end of every production, when we start our cast party, the first thing we do is we have a what went wrong, where the actors or the technicians tell stories about things that didn't go quite right. And of course, the intention is the audience never knows.
Right.
And it's best when they don't know and we're able to pull it off. It's never funny when it's a story about somebody getting hurt, because that does happen. And we have obviously try not to make fun of anybody, but there are funny things that happen. And I'll tell you one. We were doing a production of Treasure Island, and in Treasure Island, there's a group of pirates, and they're trying to find this treasure on this island. Hey, imagine that. And the director went to the actors playing the pirates, and he said, all right, guys, I need this to be really physical, really athletic. I need it to feel visceral. When you run on stage, I want the audience to feel it. You need to be loud and take a hold of them. And the actors took that seriously. We got into production. They were doing their job. And there's a scene where, the kid Jim Hawkins is on stage and he's found this map, blah, blah, blah. And they all rush on and catch him with the map. And all the pirates were supposed to rush on. Well, one of the actors playing one of the pirates went rushing on stage as loud and as serious as he could. Wah!
Right.
And then he realized he went on too soon. So he turned around and ran off the stage. Wah! So he was committed to both coming in and going out.
Nice. Oh my God, that's awesome. But I bet nobody even noticed, right? Only y'all.
I have to tell you that I'm sure they noticed.
Somebody did, right? It's just a little excited.
Yes.
Hey, in honor of him, I can relate. I have had moments where, you know, you were supposed to yell surprise at the right moment, and I thought we were going on 2, and apparently we were going on 3. It happens.
Yeah.
Hey, Johnson County, you guys take care of yourself and each other. Jason Barrus, and thank you, sir, for coming and seeing us today. We appreciate it.
Thrilled to be here. Thank you so much.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.